All right, this is it, the grand finale of the MCP Mastery series. Today, we're taking everything we've learned and putting it all together. We are going to build a complete, production-ready AI agent that can actually manage your email and calendar. And listen, this isn't just some toy project. This is a powerful and, most importantly, a safe system that you can really trust with your personal data. So, let's get started.
Okay, let's just dive right in. Look, the best way to understand what we've built is just to see it work. So we're going to walk through a simple, everyday request and see exactly how our agent handles it from start to finish.
So, here's the magic in action. A user makes a super simple request, just like they'd talk to a person. The AI is smart enough to know what to do. It calls the right tools in the right order. First, it checks if you're even free. Then it gets ready to create the event. But look at step 5. This is the most important step on this entire slide, user approval. Nothing, and I mean nothing, happens without you giving the final okay. That is the absolute core of our safety model. Once you approve, bam, the event is created. It's this beautiful, seamless, and secure flow from a simple sentence to a real-world result. Pretty cool, right? But that kind of smooth user experience, that's no accident. It's all built on a rock-solid foundation of really deliberate engineering. So now let's peel back the curtain and look at the blueprint that makes all of this possible. Okay, so we're going to start with the high-level architecture. This is the 30,000-foot view of the whole system. It's really important to get how all the big pieces fit together before we start digging into the nitty-gritty details. And here it is. This diagram is basically the heart of our entire setup. On the left, you've got the AI client. Now notice, it doesn't talk directly to Google. No way. Instead, it communicates with our custom MCP, our model client proxy server, right there in the middle. This server is the key. It's our gatekeeper. It's the bouncer at the door, enforcing all of our rules and safety checks before it ever even thinks about talking to the real Gmail and Google Calendar APIs. This separation is absolutely fundamental to building a secure system. So to make this all work, our agent has a toolbox with 7 distinct tools. And we've basically put them into 2 categories. You've got your first 4, which are your low-risk, read-only tools. Looking at emails, checking your schedule. They're safe. But then you have the last 3. These are the powerful right tools that can actually change things in the real world, like sending an email or creating a calendar event. And because of that risk, every single one of those right tools has that critical safety feature built right in. They require your approval before they can do anything. Now, let's see how all of this comes together to create a security model that's, well, basically Fort Knox. An agent this powerful has to be safe, and that all starts with how we handle authentication. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. We are using the industry gold standard, OAuth 2.0. Think of it like a valet key for your car. You're not going to give the valet your master key that opens the trunk and the glove box, right? You give them a special key with limited access, just enough to park the car. Well, OAuth works the same way. It allows our server to act on your behalf, but only with the very specific, limited permissions that you've granted. And this right here, this little snippet of code, is so important. It highlights a core security idea, the principle of least privilege. We don't ask for the master key to your entire Google account. Instead, we ask for the absolute minimum permissions we need for the agent to do its job. In this case, that's just enough to mess with Gmail and the calendar, nothing more. This massively reduces the potential damage if anything ever went wrong. But we don't stop there. We're adding another layer to our fortress. We've built in a domain allow list. What this means is our send email tool can only send emails to domains we've pre-approved. It's a really simple but incredibly powerful way to stop the AI from getting tricked into sending sensitive info to a personal email, or even worse, a competitor's domain. It's a great way to prevent accidental data leaks. So what happens if a tool tries to break that rule? It gets stopped, dead in its tracks. Our server immediately throws a validation error with a super clear message explaining what went wrong. That bad request never even leaves our server. It's a simple, powerful, and effective security check. All right, so our system is basically a fortress. The security is locked down. But is it reliable? Is it tough enough to run in the real world? Let's take a look at how we make sure this system is absolutely production ready through testing and deployment. You can't just wing it with a system this important. You need professional-grade testing. We have a whole suite of tests that cover every possible angle. We've got contract tests to make sure the AI and our server are speaking the same language. We've got integration tests to ensure we're talking to the real Google APIs correctly. And of course, we have end-to-end tests that simulate that whole user workflow we saw at the beginning, just to make sure everything works together perfectly. And the results of all that hard work? It's this number, over 85% code coverage. Now, what does that actually mean? It's a key metric that tells us how much of our code is checked by our tests. A high number like this gives us a ton of confidence that our system is stable, reliable, and isn't going to have a bunch of weird bugs when real users are depending on it. And when this thing is live in production, it's not just running on one computer somewhere. No way. It's deployed on 3 separate servers, or what we call replicas. This just means that if one server has a problem and goes offline, the other 2 are right there, ready to pick up the slack instantly. It ensures the service is always on and available for our users. You know, this Capstone project is so much more than just a cool demo. It's really the culmination of everything we've covered in this series, bringing all those individual lessons together into one complete, working, beautiful system. Just look at this journey we've been on together. Remember back when we were just talking about authentication? Then we moved on to building our first tools, diving deep into security, learning how to test properly, and finally, how to deploy a system like this to production. Every single one of those explainers was a building block, a stepping stone that led us right here, right now. And so, seriously, congratulations. You've made it through the whole series. You have the complete skill set now. You've got the tools, you've got the design patterns, and you've got that security-first mindset to go out and build your own amazing things with total confidence. Hey, thank you so much for joining us on this journey. We've laid the foundation, we've shown you what's possible, but now it's your turn to create. So we'll leave you with this final and I think very exciting question. What will you build first?